So one thing Nintendo made very clear with Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was the fact that the most recent trailer that was shown to us, which was branded trailer number 3, even though we had far more than that, I guess it was technically the third trailer since the title of the game was revealed, they made it very clear that that was the final trailer that we would see pre-launch for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. However, one thing that was not specifically outlined by them is whether or not we might see new gameplay footage or a deeper look at some of the characters, essentially a small snippet of new glimpses of the game, the world, or its characters. And in today's video, we have to go over some brand new footage that has appeared online from the official Nintendo Tears of the Kingdom website over in Japan. So this is official promotional footage we will be looking at, and you don't have to worry about spoilers, and we have to break down all of the different new information we now know following this gameplay footage and a conversation around what else we might see as we get closer and closer to that May 12th launch date for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on your bell notification if you're as excited for Tears of the Kingdom's final release as I am. We don't have to wait much longer. It is April 20th at the time of filming this video, and we have some brand new Tears of the Kingdom footage that we have to take a closer look at, because so far with how Nintendo has handled the marketing with this game, which in my opinion is genius, it has been a very much less is more approach, where we don't know a lot of what to expect in terms of the story, the progression pace of the game. We may not even know all of the gameplay mechanics following that 10-minute overview trailer. There is a lot of reason to believe that Link may get additional abilities other than the ones we've seen. And so with such a tight-lipped launch around this game and a deeper look at it before it's officially in our hands, every piece of new footage counts when you get to see that, and we will dive right into the new snippet that you can find over on the Nintendo of Japan Tears of the Kingdom website, where initially we see Link standing on a platform overlooking a giant sky temple, tower, whatever you want to call it, off in the distance. It then switches to him running and diving off of one of the sky islands into the lands beneath, notably with multiple red rings in this screenshot, actually 4 different ones that you can see visibly, and a whirlpool of sorts that we will be talking about later. And lastly, we briefly see him taking flight to the lands below from a high mountaintop, but not a true up sky island. And to kind of do the breakdown of the frame by frame closer look, we first have to look at this sky island where Link is clearly standing in some kind of transport, maybe fast travel point, looking off to that sky temple in the distance, that tower that we've seen from other trailers but never from this angle. And it's not clear to me on whether or not this is an ascend point that Link ascended through the ground up to this pillar in the sky that he's standing on, or if this is just a fast travel point and it's what it looks like when you land there if you were to go to your map and actually fast travel to this exact location. The next point of interest, of course, is right after Link dives off of the sky platform down to the lands below, but you see a different look at Hyrule before, and many have pointed out online that these red circles that we see do indeed line up with previous shrines that were in the land of Hyrule and their locations, and that does beg the question on whether or not these red circles are what the theoretical Zonai shrines maybe are, and then once you, of course, complete them, we see those green swirls like we've seen in other trailers, or others are speculating that these are the points that you would traverse to the underground area within the game that we do know for sure will be included in Tears of the Kingdom. I actually don't think that that's what these are, and I do think that it's more likely that these are the shrines, and we will be having some kind of altered revisit of the shrines in some way, shape, or form. Maybe Ganon has taken them back over, and the red signifies the calamity that the shrines are captured, and we have to go through and complete them once more. Although I would certainly hope that Nintendo would do different puzzles within them, and I'm sure that they will. We still don't know how Link's going to attain his hearts and stamina in this game, but if I'm a betting man, it is going to be through Zonai shrines, and once we complete them, they will go from red to green, and we can use them as fast travel points just like we did in Breath of the Wild. Although I do think that we won't have all of the shrines intact, and there will be different ones in different locations in some cases, and in other cases we will have identical one-for-one locations for some of the Zonai shrines and the previous shrines that we had in Breath of the Wild. The other big point with this screenshot, whenever we're looking at Link jumping down, is this whirlpool figure that we can see in the lake on the left. I think that this only further hints at the fact that we are likely going to have underwater portions of the game. This is not confirmation of that, but I could definitely see that being some kind of teleport point to get to the bottom of that lake and actually go through, maybe into some kind of water dungeon, maybe just a water area where there are specific items you can find there. Who knows for sure, but I do think that something like a descend ability through a whirlpool would be very likely to traverse to the bottom of a water area, and maybe we are talking about Link essentially having some kind of way to breathe underwater, where we saw it very heavily hinted at the fact that that will be in this game with those air bubbles that we saw popping up that were essentially platforms, but Link was fully submerged going from one to the other. And I don't think that it's out of the realm of possibility that underwater exploration is indeed back in this game alongside traditional dungeons and maybe everyone's favorite temple, the water temple from Ocarina of Time or something similar, will be back in some way, shape, or form in this adventure. Now, as the camera pans up, as Link continues to fall to the grounds beneath, the Sky Islands are in full glory. I mean, there's so many of them. I think it's going to be everywhere across Hyrule, and there's so many we probably haven't seen yet, and the vast number of ones you can just see with that brief moment of looking at them is really impressive. So plenty of Sky Islands to come and plenty of new areas to traverse in the sky for Tears of the Kingdom. I think that that's already been said from Nintendo. It's not a surprise, but we see a better look at it here with this new gameplay footage. The only other thing that is worth mentioning as part of this new gameplay footage is the most up close look we've had at what used to be the map towers, now existing as what I believe are the underground teleport sections. When we saw Link going through that tunnel looking thing with the Sheikah Slate in his hand, it essentially looked like an extremely fast elevator. I believe that these are the points that somehow they've drilled underground and they can take you down to the depths of Hyrule, and that's maybe why we're seeing some kind of light shining through, because they actually drilled down to a point that is underneath the land, and that's how Link gets there. That's at least what I am thinking. It remains to be seen on whether or not we will have to go tackle those towers again to unlock portions of our map. We really don't know what to expect with that, but this is very much the best look we've had at this thing so far, and it doesn't really reveal anything new other than it's clearly a reused map tower with those beams of light coming out, and I think likely the traversal points to the underground that we know to expect in Tears of the Kingdom. Now, so that about wraps up what we can see from the new footage, but I would like to point out that when it comes to where we should be setting our expectations in terms of new footage we may see from here, that is all anybody's guess. I do, however, think that in the lead up to this game, we will still see Nintendo talking about it plenty, likely with small new footage drip fed to us along the way. I do believe that we will maybe get some kind of story explanation for the new generation of champions and maybe a quick closer look at them. We may also just see Link and Zelda doing different things we haven't seen before, but not in a traditional put together long form trailer, but rather social media posts from Nintendo, like they like to promote many of their other games, where it's a quick 10-second or less snippet of this character, but then there's some backstory and backlog in text that they put out explaining who this character is or what they do or your new ability. I think that's a lot of the drip feed style marketing that we will get from here with Tears of the Kingdom, and then we are likely going to see a launch trailer that will come out right around the time that the game actually drops, maybe the day of, maybe the day before, but right in that launch window we should have that official, essentially TV ad spot, not the leaked one that's getting people in trouble online, but rather that final push for the game. Go buy it, it's out now, that kind of final marketing messaging. And we may see all footage that we've already seen just snipped together differently, or we may indeed get some new reveals as part of that launch trailer, but that is definitely coming out right around the time that the game actually launches, which means we have a few weeks of being in the dark until we can ultimately go pick this up at our local retailers or download it on the eShop on May 12th. But I really want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, what you think about this new Tears of the Kingdom footage, and if you feel like it's substantial at all, or if you're just at the point where you're ready to play the game, you don't need to see anything else, or Tell me also if you're somebody who feels like you haven't seen enough of this game so far and you would like Nintendo to reveal more ahead of its release. I'm definitely a fan of everything I've seen, and I've seen more than enough in my opinion, especially following the most recent trailer, and we had that 10-minute Aonuma-led gameplay presentation. I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to spend the $70 on this game. I don't think it's $70 DLC. I think everybody who does pick it up will have a fantastic time traversing through this adventure, and we don't have to wait too much longer until that May 12th date is ultimately here. But regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around this topic. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.